Hey everyone, and welcome to another tutorial. In today's tutorial, we're going to create an app right within Microsoft Access, or as Access refers to them as queries. What we're going to do today is we're going to create an app that will calculate the commissions for each salesperson based on the total sales that they made. Now, in order for this to work, you will have had to process some transactions through your systems, and we've gone through after creating our invoice module. We went through and we created a number of transactions with different salespeople, customers, products, and amounts. So now what we want to do is we want to be able to determine the amount of commission that we're going to pay each salesperson based on what they sold. So to begin, as always, make sure you've got a clean slate. You don't have any tabs open up here. And we go across the top of the menu here and we want to select the Create tab. And right next to Tables, you'll see this little area here called Queries. And we're going to use the Query Wizard. Now, for the balance of this program that we're creating, when we go into the queries here, we are going to use the Simple Query Wizard. So we'll just use the default that shows up here. Okay, we'll select OK. And this table should look a little familiar to you. It's very similar to the pop-up that appeared when we were creating using the form wizards, when we were creating our forms down here. So now we're actually using a similar pop-up, but this now is going to be for our queries, or our apps rather. Now to begin, you want to determine what your query or your app is going to look like when it's completed. So we need to know, first of all, well, what fields are we going to need in order to produce this app. So we've decided that we're going to want to know the invoice number, we're going to want to know the date of the sale, the employee's name, of course, what product it was that they sold, and the retail price of that product, as well as the quantity. Now we need those two, the retail and the quantity, those two quantitative components, so that we're obviously able to calculate the total commission on it. So if you recall, and if you don't remember where those fields were in the various tables that we created, it's always a good idea if you need to just to open those tables up before you build your query and write down which tables those belong to. All right, so we know that the invoice number, well, we can find that on our invoice table. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing as here as we did when we were creating the forms on the underneath the forms menu here, and that is we're going to select these items one at a time. So we want the invoice number. We also said we want the date of the sale, and we want to know who the employee was. So that's all we're going to need from the invoice table. Next, we want to have the product name, the retail price, and the quantity. So if you recall, the product name and the retail price we could find on our items master table. That contained all our product information. Okay, so right here we can see our product name. We'll bring that over. And our retail price, we want that as well. And then the last item that we want is the quantity. And the quantity was on our invoice detail table, okay, which is right here. So here's our quantity. We'll highlight that and we'll move it over. All right, now before we move any further, we want to make sure we have the fields that we're going to need to create this app. Okay, so we've got our invoice number, we've got our date of sale, the employee who sold the product name, the retail price, and the quantity. So this is what we're going to need. Select next, and we're going to want the detail, right? So we'll show every field of every record. That's exactly what we want, so we'll leave that as the default. And then we're going to put a title here. So we're going to call this Commission Calculation App. Okay, and we will select Finish. All right, and as always, as everything else that we've created within the program, it opens up in a datasheet view, which is fine. I'm just going to widen some of these columns here so we can get everything that we need. And you can see what we've got. Okay, we've got our invoice, numbers, we've got the date of sales, who the employee was, what product it was they sold, the retail price, and the quantity. So now what we need to do here is we want to calculate the commission rate that they're going to be paid. And the commission rate will be a very straightforward calculation. It's just going to be the retail price times the quantity sold, and that's it. Now, as with every other application that we've done creating this program within Access, we want to switch into design view. And when we do this on a query, it's going to look a little bit different than what you've seen in the past. So let's select design view. And now you can see at the top here, it's almost showing you, if you recall from our previous tutorials in classes, when we were creating relationships between tables, we would go up to the database tools, we would select the relationship module, and we would, it would show us or display the tables and the types of relationships that we had created. And this is doing the similar thing here at the top of the query. It's showing you the tables and the field numbers from those tables that we had selected for our query. Now, down near the bottom portion of the page here, here's where everything happens. So we can see from left to right, we have our invoice number, our date of sale, employee ID, product name, retail, quantity. Now, what we want to do here is we need to create a column to calculate the commission rate. So in the field just to the right of quantity, right here, you're just going to click in there so you've got your cursor flashing. And what we're going to do now is we need to open up our expression builder. And that expression builder is what we used a lot when we were creating our invoice module, when we were putting in formulas to calculate subtotals, HST tax, and grand totals. So within the query, we're going to open up the same expression builder, but we're going to open it up in a slightly different way. So what we're going to do with our cursor flashing here, we're going to go up here to where you see Query Setup, and just above that you'll see the builder icon. Okay, so select the builder icon, and then there is your expression builder showing up. So right in here in the formula bar, we're going to put in a very simple formula, and it's going to be retail times quantity times 5.5%. So to do that, we're going to start with an open parenthesis, and then here's retail. Here's our expression categories here in the middle column. We'll select retail times quantity, okay, close parenthesis, okay, times 0.055. Okay, let me go through that again with you. So we started out with an open parenthesis, then we selected retail times quantity, close parenthesis, times 0.055. All right, so with that in place, let's select OK, and we've got that in there. Now, you'll notice here, see where it says quantity, and you'll notice here it says EXPR1. Abbreviated, that's expression 1. What we want to do is we don't want the field name to be expression 1. We actually want it to be commission. So we have to do this very carefully because we don't want to delete the formula. So I'm going to ask you to just take your cursor and just anywhere within the EXPR, just click wherever it's flashing, and then use your left arrow key to get your cursor to the far left of that field column, right? So you just want it flashing immediately to the left of the capital E. Once you've got your cursor flashing there, just carefully, hit your delete key on your keyboard and delete everything up to 1. Okay? So the only thing left now that you should have is your cursor flashing, and immediately to the right of that, just a colon. Now we can just type in the word commission. So when we finalize this, that's going to be the name, the header name of the column, right? Now, we've done that, and now what we want to do is we want to make sure that the value that's going to be returned to us, in other words, the commission amount, we want it to be returned to us as a currency. So, as we did in previous classes and tutorials, we're going to format that number as currency. So if you just go up to the top of the screen here, you'll see Property Sheet. Let's just select that, and our Property Sheet menu shows up here on the right-hand side. And you'll see right under Description, it says Format. So let's click in that field, and we'll see our drop-down arrow. We'll find currency. Where are you? There you go. All right, and we will save. Okay, we can close this. And as always, whenever we've made any sort of modification to a table, or we've entered a formula or a code, once we've done something, we want to check and make sure that it's functioning properly. And creating an app or a query is no different. We want to do exactly the same thing. So to do that here, what we're going to do is we'll just look to the upper left-hand corner of your program, and you'll see right under the home menu, you'll see a run icon. So left-click on Run, and it actually runs the query. And then you can see here now, we've got the last column on the right. Let me just expand that a little bit. Excuse me. Now shows the commission calculation on all of these sales that were made. Okay, now we're going to go one step further on this, and we're going to export this out to Excel, because I want to show you how to, as we've developed this program, we've imported a lot of tables from Excel into the program. And now what I'd like to show you is how to go the other way and export some data out into Excel. And then you can do things like pivot tables and charts, whatever it is that you want to create, which is really what you do in real world applications. And a lot of times with ERP systems or different management information systems, you get some core data and you'll want to actually kind of compile or consolidate a lot of that data into an Excel spreadsheet so that you can create some programs or functions in there to give you some more in-depth drill down information. So to do that, just go up to the top, we'll select external data right here, and then we'll select Excel. And the first thing it's going to ask you is, well, where do you want to export this to? Like, find a location. We'll go to Browse. Make sure that you are sending this somewhere where you will be able to locate it quickly. I'm just going to put it right here under my Mohawk folder. That's good. Now, I want to check this box here, and this is important. Export the data with formatting and layout. So in other words, what it's saying here is when this comes out to Excel is, excuse me, I want it to be just like this datasheet view in Access here. So in other words, I want my invoice, date of sale, employee, and all these headings across the top. I want these to be my column headings and then have all the data below that. So I'm going to put a check mark here right where it says export data with formatting and layout and select OK. And then just select close. All right, and then let's go and find that spreadsheet now. There it is. I'll open that up. Okay, and you should now see you've got a really nice, tidy looking spreadsheet that came right out from your program into Excel with everything here. Now, what I may want to do here is I'm going to create a quick pivot table just to consolidate all this information, because now I've got all this information on here, and what it's done is it's taken every single product that was sold by every salesperson and broken it all out and calculated commissions on all these products. But really what I want to do here is I would like to just have total, salesperson's name or employee's name and a total amount for commission. That's it. Nice and simple for commission rate. So we can do that by creating a pivot table. Okay, oops, let's get rid of that. And we'll highlight all our data. If you didn't happen to catch that, I'm going to show you that little keyboard shortcut in Excel. I'll just highlight cell A1, and now hold down my control key and hit A. Then we'll select our Insert tab in Excel, and I'll select Pivot Table. And OK, because I want it to open up on a separate worksheet. And what do we want? Well, we want the employee name, and we want the commission rate. Okay, and now the commission, I would like it to be in a currency format. So I'll go to Value Field Settings, Number Format, and we are going to select Currency, and OK, and OK again. All right. Close that, and now we've got commission rates for all these salespeople. And what I want to do here is I actually want to sort this from highest to lowest. We can see who our top salesperson was, largest to smallest. And there you go. So we can see that this Marissa Devick is being paid the most commission. She earned $2,059 and all the way down. So you can see what we've done here very, very quickly is we've got a lot of salespeople here. So our total commissions for the invoice is $9,115.83. And now we have the total commissions payable for each salesperson that quickly. Anyway, that's it for this tutorial. I hope you got a lot out of that. Please, again, as always, if you're creating your apps or your queries within the program and something isn't working or functioning as you wish that it would, use these tutorials to go back and take a look and then check what you've done step by step and then make any necessary corrections if you need to do that. So once again, thanks for joining me for this. I hope you got a lot out of it, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.